ready.
Burn the city, Tiberius. No prisoners, no mercy. Kill them all!
Yes, Consul. Forward!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Road to Rome, a weekly series that me and Toby are doing every week based on all the new features and details leaked about Rome 2 Total War.
Hi guys. Hello everyone. Woo!
Alright, so this week, this is our first episode, and we'll have these every week. Hopefully we're putting them out every Friday. That's probably not going to happen, but, you know, every week anyway, for definite.
Yeah, you guys know how we are. What we say every Friday. You know, you might get one 2014, 2016. We'll see how it goes.
So basically, as different news comes out during the week about Rome, like if you want one place to see it all, subscribe to this channel, like the video, and we'll keep doing these. You know, for people who like Rally Point, you know, Rally Point's okay. I mean, it's great and all. It comes out like once every freaking 2 months though, and you know, the guys, they're a bit childish. Let's be honest.
Basically, so before it launches, basically, you know, we'll be going through features as they get announced, stuff like that. You know, new maps, new historical battles. You know, a bit of detail. We don't want to go in too in depth in anything. Then after it's launched, you know, me and Dan will be talking about, you know, patches that come out, different historical battles. Then, you know, on Quiet Weeks we'll talk about, you know, different factions and, you know, how historically accurate they are in the history and basically everything surrounding the game and the universe.
Yeah, and once the game comes out, obviously we'll be playing a co-op campaign together. We don't know the details of how multiplayer is going to work yet, but we're pretty sure we'll be playing some sort of co-op campaign together. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so it's the end of E3.
Yep, exciting few days.
Just finished today as we recorded this, and some new footage came out about Rome. The Battle of the Nile is the historical battle that was played, and for the first time we've got to see a little bit of the campaign map. Off the top of your head, Toby, what was a few of the features that most impressed you?
Okay, firstly, this map looks gorgeous. As in, Total War maps have always looked good, even back into like Medieval and Shogun, when, you know, they technically didn't look good. They still at the time you thought, fucking hell, that looks amazing. And Shogun 2 just obviously blew everything else out of the water. It had the cloud cover, had all that stuff. It looked gorgeous. And this map is just a step up again. It looks absolutely stunning straight away.
Yeah, Shogun introduced the first like full rotatable map. And I was a little bit skeptical. I didn't think they could do it with such a large scale map, but you know, you called it like they're not going to get rid of a feature once it's in there. So you can see like at different points he's rotating around the map. The map is huge. It's 4 times larger, I think, than Shogun was.
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
Yeah, looks immensely detailed. Just looks gorgeous, like you said. Like, it's unbelievable detail. And also another thing I noticed is that for the first time now, I think you can travel down the Nile River, which, you know, you could never do before. So you can actually apparently block off trade down to all the towns that feed off the Nile down from Egypt. Yeah,
it looks like, because, you know, in previous games that have had the Mediterranean, the Nile's always been like, you know, Egypt is like one tile down. It's still not huge. You still can't, you know, go deep into Africa or anything. But I think it's about you know, 2.5, 3 provinces down now. So the Nile is actually a you know, a viable trade route for those desert-based nations, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be
just to jump in with that point. Also, the fact that you can send ships down the Nile. And after what I'm sure we're going to talk about is that, you know, that Cleopatra battle and what we've known for a while with that the hybrid battles where you've got the sea as well, sea force as well. I think that's going to be amazing on the banks of the Nile.
Yeah, because
a lot of fun battles down there.
Most of the towns are they're, you know, obviously it's the Nile, so they're going to be against the Nile because, you know, cities spawn from rivers pretty much.
You know, it's also always been a massive, you know, crossing point. You cross over the Nile to get down there, and you know, with the hybrid battles, I think that's going to be amazing with, you know, ship landings across the Nile and stuff. That's going to be awesome.
Well, this follows on to another thing that I noticed was that they're keeping the, you know, the kind of the one resource per territory thing that they had in Shogun, so you can look at the provinces and see what resources are in each. Excuse me. Yeah, and there's going to be different resources all down the Nile. So of course, like, there's going to be huge trade, and you can just block it off straight at the top. So I'd say it's going to be like, that's probably one of the places where there's going to be most action on the sea.
Definitely. That's obviously if you start as one of those eastern factions. If not, you could take it later. But I do like the fact they've kept in the one resource system. I like that. It promoted a lot of trade and, you know, gave you these without being too in depth and, you know, hardcore economic micromanagement stuff. You know, you go, you need this, you need someone to have that so you can trade with it, so you can make better swords, whatever. I like that. It's nice and simple. It's clear. It's brilliant. I like that.
So another thing is, let's see, it stretches from Spain all the way to Afghanistan, I think. So it is massive.
Yeah, that's about right.
I don't know, like it's gonna take a long time to take over all of that. But
The thing is, they haven't. It's hard to provide that much scale apart from one point, because when you see a campaign map, you can't really tell the scale properly because the different zoom levels and all that stuff which you change the whole time. It's hard to tell. But then at one point, I can't remember which battle it was in. They zoomed out only for a second, and you saw when you zoom out further, unlike Shogun and the previous Total War games, when you zoom out properly, you get like just a basic coloured block map of the provinces.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you keep zooming out, you just get it shows each province in a color, and there you really could see how many more provinces this has got compared to the previous games. It is vast. It's vast.
So let's see, another massive, probably the biggest feature that we can probably both agree on that we just noticed is that towns can expand, and it looks fucking cool when they do.
If you, I'm sure Dan will show a picture, a clip of this in the background, but it looks brilliant. They only showed it very, very briefly, but it looks fantastic. Like in the previous games you might build like some massive significant building and add a little bit to it. Like in Shogun, you build an extra wall and add a little bit of wall to the map. It changes a little bit. But on this one, you see it visually, in video format spring up. Like the walls get built around it, and it seems to be what the guy was saying. It seems like most of the major buildings and stuff do have this cool visual effect on the map, and that's brilliant straight away.
I find that pretty interesting because usually you'd have to end the turn before you get to see anything we built, but he built it straight away. So that's a bit weird. I didn't think about that until now. So I don't know if all the circumstances came together where he was allowed to build that in that turn, or if it took a while to build up or not.
Exactly. I personally think he just it was a dev command thing that they had going on, so they edited it or whatever. But I noticed that as well. But it could be there's something you build in one turn, but I'd be surprised. I think it was just a dev command or something like that. But we'll see.
It also brings up questions like, so if a town can expand, it's technically a bigger target. I mean, like you could get to it a little bit quicker than if it wasn't such a big town. And then the town, the only reason that this came up in my head was that it juts off in such a strange angle that I wonder, does it affect the actual how the battle goes? So if the town is shaped like it is on the map, you could have circumstances where you might be only fighting on this one section of the city, and like maybe the other soldiers can retreat to the inner city kind of thing. Because in the Carthage gameplay, we've seen this massive city, but only about a third of it was occupied by troops in that commander view.
Yeah.
So they haven't said yet, and I'm sure we'll find out soon, but that's just something to think about.
It wouldn't surprise me actually, with now nothing of it, if they do that. So if these cities get really big, you are fighting in just a portion of it, because as you say, from the Carthage battle, Carthage was obviously huge on the map, and it was just fighting in that corner by the sea. So it might well be, I don't know if that means that you just fight in the bit you attack, just because the cities are too big to render them all into a battle, or if it's going to be, like you said, you have multiple battles to take over the city. Either one, it's pretty cool either way, really. So we'll see how that turns out.
The main reason I thought of that is because it juts off at such an awkward angle. You think a city would just, they could have just done a simple grows all around kind of thing, but the fact that it's like so distinct, you'd think that it would translate to the battle map as well.
Yeah, I don't know though, because it could be that the reason it juts off at a strange angle is because I don't know, because they didn't have it in Shogun as much, but in I can't actually remember which games they had it in, but they had population was more of a factor of cities, like back in Medieval, which I played a lot of. I played a lot of Medieval before and after Rome. The population was a big factor in the cities, so you could get overpopulated and underpopulated and all these things, and they had these factors. So it might be that he has like the minimum amount of population to fill that area, and as your population grows, the city will expand as well. I don't know. They haven't explained anything about that.
Yeah.
So it could grow quite organically like that. Who knows?
Alright, so that's basically the campaign map covered for what we know about it so far, all the major things anyway. So we should talk about like the actual Nile battle that we've seen. So what for you do you think stands out most in your mind about like what we've seen?
Well, it has to be just because it is technically, it doesn't mean everyone thinks it's most exciting, but it's the most major change is that hybrid battle system. And for people who don't know exactly what I'm talking about, it's now obviously previously in the games, well actually only that recently, you've had land battles, your standard land battles, sieges, whatever, and you've had your ship combat, and now they've fused them into one. In some situations where you're fighting on the coast, you get these hybrid battles. So as they showed on the briefly in the Cleopatra battle, you had this whole land battle going on, you had the ship battle going on separately. Then after that resolves or whatever, you can also you can land your troops from your ship to come and provide support, and they can also give you this like ballistae, fire support and stuff like that. And I think that's a cool feature, very cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, they've doubled the unit card count that you can manage at one time. So obviously that's for the to deal with the amount of sea troops that you have.
Yeah, I just think it's this cool dynamic. 'Cause I don't know why. I'm always a sucker for like sieges and long range artillery stuff like that. So I love the idea of having this, this big fixed battle and then like ships off the coast providing artillery support and being able to land troops and stuff. That's just awesome. That is cool. It's really cool. So yeah, I like that. I think that's the biggest change, straight up change.
Yeah, we've seen that like in the Carthage demo, like with the ships coming straight into the city, which is awesome. I mean, if you get, I don't know, I don't think they showed it. They didn't show any catapults on ships yet, did they? No.
Yeah, they did. If you
they?
look carefully, if you watch the beginning of the ship battle in the Cleopatra one, the ships are shooting each other with flaming catapults.
Oh, okay.
But,
I didn't notice that.
But you don't see them shooting the land. But the devs at the same time says you can use them to shoot the land.
Yeah.
So
because I was just thinking, if
that.
you could go straight if you got your ships into the Carthaginian like city, because that's the only one I can think of now that has like a river going into it, you could just destroy from within. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, I know. But then again, it looks like that, or we haven't seen it since the original Carthage footage, which was a few months ago now, and obviously a lot less polished. That they have, the walls and stuff have much more defenses like catapults and stuff on them. So it has this whole cool new dynamic, which is interesting. I like that.
So another thing we got to see, we've seen a little bit of at the Battle of Teutoburg Forest. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but is the battle deployable? So like we got to see the rolling balls of hay or flaming balls of hay again.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
we saw that in the Cleopatra one as well. But yeah, I think that is cool. Well, obviously that's the only one we've seen so far. But
the dev said there's over 10 different ones you can deploy.
No. I'm sure there are different ones. It's just like everything else, keeping it close to their chest. But yeah, I think that'd be cool. I'm assuming it would be stuff like, things like the flaming balls. I'm assuming like archers would probably better put like stakes in front of them or something like that. Pointing out the ground, that kind of stuff. It isn't game changing, but it's cool and adds its dynamic, and it can really give you the edge or not.
Now, we've been praising the game pretty heavily, and we probably will like almost every Road to Rome episode that we do. But one thing a lot of people seem to be unhappy about is the unit cards. They look, in my opinion, I'm not really a big fan of them either. I'd prefer a picture of the unit. I think they're more distinguishable. They're kind of they're a bit too. I'm sure once you get familiar with them, no problem. But they do seem very like each one kind of looks the exact same as the other. And it's very they only have subtle differences to let you know what differences, what types of the unit they are. So I always notice in the comments and things in videos, people are quite upset about them. They say, "Oh, is that the final product?" And people are like, "No, that'll be changed." But obviously, these people don't know anything. I reckon they will be in the game. So what do you think?
Since they said nothing about the unit cards, and I wasn't sure if they were placeholder models or not. But then after seeing the Cleopatra they released today, when he was building stuff, it had the same style.
Yeah, the Egyptian army had the exact same ones, except purple.
Yes, and when he was building the city and the campaign map as well, just the building cards in the bottom that show what buildings you've got and what buildings you're choosing to build. They have the same similar style as the they have that same like Spartan wall painting style of
like the pottery kind of paint.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm not sure if I like or not. I'm with you. I prefer the pictures, but I think it's something it's such a minor gripe. I think something like that, it'll either get changed. There'll be options to change it, or you'll get used to it. Really,
yeah. I like the idea of it, but just when you think about there's going to be like 200 units or something. Like,
yeah, I know.
How are they going to differentiate them that much?
I know. I'm sure they'll probably release. As they're going to keep hyping the game up and releasing more detail, that they'll give a bit more info about that. But I'm on the fence at the moment. I'm not sure if I like it or not yet. But time will tell. Time will tell if that's what it's going to look like or what. I don't know. Because to be honest, on the list of priorities, I'm sure that's probably very low down the list of priorities as well.
Yeah.
So it might just be that it's not done.
But the thing is, I'd say you could easily get a mod for it. If it was a problem for anybody, straight away people will have mods for it. Like
exactly. I can't remember this and I can't quote the source, but. I seem to remember hearing that they said that they're going to try and continue the mod support they've had on the previous games.
Yeah.
Which, if so, and as you said that the outcry at the moment is against those unit cards, if they do continue to allow mod support, which I'd be surprised they didn't, honestly, with Total War.
Well, they have the Steam Workshop integration. I'm sure that there will be mods. Like there has to be. Yeah.
So that'll probably be one of the first mods to come out. Will be the unit cards if you don't like them anyway. So it's not a big issue really.
So one of the last points that I have is the capture points make a return from the Shogun multiplayer battles. They had capture points. I don't think they did in the normal game, but so in single player now, or at least in historical battles anyway, so far we've seen that there is capture points, and you take different points and you need to capture all the points to capture a city.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just noticed that you could see him on the hill capturing the point.
Yeah.
I think there was only one for that, like on top of the hill.
As far as I saw, yeah. But the thing is, I'm torn on this as well. In open land battles, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Just because it makes it a little bit arcadey, but then again, there are good reasons for it. Like obviously in a battle, you do need to capture the high ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I'm not sure about that yet. But I do like it in city sieges.
Yeah.
Because however much I liked, previously giving them 25 good units and giving myself 5 amazing units of Spartans or something that could just stand in an alleyway and block the whole thing off and they couldn't win. As much as fun as fuck as that was, watching their units just pile onto you and they couldn't move you, it was obviously completely broken in any like multiplayer component. So the fact they have got these capture points will obviously spread the defenders a lot thinner, make it a lot more dynamic as a battle, and will take away that whole I'll just sit this unit in the one road leading up to the middle of the city and that's the end of the game. So I like it in sieges. I don't know how I feel about it yet in battles.
Yeah, I hope they don't do any of the stuff they did in the multiplayer where it's like, oh, if you take this point you get a defense bonus, that kind of thing. I think it suits multiplayer, but like in single player I don't think it does. I like to view single player as a much more realistic version anyway, and that didn't happen. It's like you capture a building and my shield is made of steel now, but So yeah, I hope they just keep that away. I wouldn't mind the capture points too much. I think I agree with you. Like in a city, it kind of makes sense a lot more anyway. That there's much more buildings and things. Open land battles, it's not really needed that much. So so that's pretty much everything I have to talk about. With
the only last thing I want to talk about, which isn't strictly gameplay related, is it was echoed in the comments of that YouTube video, and I just have to bring it up because after I thought people were just raging.
The interviewer.
And after watching the video, I have to agree. That interviewer. Who the hell is he? Who did GameStop get to do that interview?
Okay, so we'll break this down a bit. I mean, I don't like him either, and I didn't mind him at first until I actually watched the video back again, and I kind of paid more attention because I noticed the comments all saying, and like he normally interviewers help the developer as best they can to bring out the best in their game, okay, but like straight away, like one of the first things he was saying is, will it run on my PC? It's like, it doesn't sound like it will. The AI it used to be really shit in the old games. Was it any better this time? He's quite a negative guy.
Yeah, you're completely right, and that was annoying. But I don't mind an interview if the interview is negative, if they're informed. This guy clearly had no idea about a Total War game. It wasn't like he was being critical from an informed perspective.
No, exactly.
He didn't go, well, in previous games this was a weaker point, and people complain about it. I think this might be a good, but what have you done about that? He had no idea what happened, and his comments and questions were just like he'd never seen the game before. And 2 minutes before they'd gone, mate, you've got to interview this guy, and he'd gone, tell me something about the game. Oh, there's elephants in it. Okay, I'll remember that. There's elephants in it.
Exactly.
And that's what he had. And that is what he had.
Like, what kind of short-term memory does he have? Elephants were seen about 3 or 4 times, like in the video.
He goes, oh, you never showed me elephants.
Yeah.
I don't know about it.
So he showed them into deployment, and then he showed them crashing into the Legionnaires on the hill. So I don't know what more you want from the elephants, really.
The stuff he said, as you said, like how bad the AI was. The AI's never been bad in Total War. If you try playing it on hard or very hard, the AI is not bad. It's not a human, obviously it never is, but the AI is actually quite good in Total War games as it goes.
Yeah.
And when he goes, oh, well, it's making it a bit gamey. It's a fucking game, you moron. I know that
I didn't like
they
that.
can have this.
No.
It's just.
I mean, he should be so lucky, That's just how I felt.
Exactly. And
I've never.
A
PC gamer interviewer will be dying to have that spot.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I'm not even like annoyed about it that he didn't say like he loved the game in every way. That's fine. I'm not expecting that from a review, but I'm expecting him to be informed and ask intelligent questions. If they're positive or negative, that's fine. But he just had no clue about what was going on. So he's just scraping the surface with these stupid questions. Like at the end, he goes, "Oh, so it's releasing in September. Is that a bit close to next-gen console releases?"
I know.
No, they're completely different markets.
Exactly.
What difference does that make?
Exactly. Exactly. First of all, they are completely different markets, and second of all, it is 2 months ahead of any console launch.
Yeah.
At least.
It's a busy period, that September, October, around there.
Yeah.
But
well, October, November are even busier. So.
It's like going to to like Matt Plains, this big electronics store in the UK if you're not from the UK, and going, oh, you worried about releasing these new headphones because they're Sainsbury's, they've got a new milk coming on the market next week. What does that mean? Why? That's not the same thing.
Okay, well,
it
that's
has
a bit
no
far,
relevance.
but yeah, okay.
That is a bit far, but it was just so stupid.
I know.
And also Total War, it's also not even like that can affect smaller games that aren't these AAA games. If they're releasing in the same month as a big game, they might not do as well. But something like Total War, which is one of the most established brands on PC, and a lot of people bought PCs to play Total War, and they are, apart from that, they're console gamers like Darren used to be. Prime example. He was a console gamer. He liked Total War, and he essentially, started playing PC games because of Total War. It's not a little small game that's going to be affected by stuff like that. People will buy it regardless. It doesn't matter about the console releases at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's only on Steam. People on Steam don't care about what consoles are doing. Most of them in general, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And as an RTS, it completely stands on its own 2 feet as well. It's totally different to any other RTS.
Exactly. It's also the only big RTS coming out at that time anyway. So the only other things. The other stuff come around that's like GTA and first-person shooters and stuff like that, which obviously they're completely different games as well. It's not even like it's coming out with 5 other RTSs at the same time. So it was just a silly question, really. You could see he was clutching at straws, and that kind of annoyed me.
Yeah.
Because, and as you said earlier, because it is such a good interview, and any PC gaming, PC gamer, interviewer would have killed for that spot to ask some intelligent questions and get some good answers for the people watching it. Because that is your job as the interviewer. You would get the information for people.
Yeah, well, see, GameSpot seem to have some deal with them. They've had every single demo played on their thing, and previously everything was fine. I don't know who this guy is.
That's the thing. I'm although I'm really annoyed about it. It's I'm not holding it against GameSpot or anything like that, because I'm sure it probably was. At E3, I've watched a lot of YouTubers talk about it. It's very hectic. You've got to cram stuff in. It's probably at the last minute. He probably was told you need to go and do this interview, because we haven't got anyone else to do it right now. But it's still stupid and annoying. But what can you do?
All right, so that's it for this week's episode. Tune in next week. We'll have another episode. If any new content comes out, we'll be the first ones to post it. Anyway, talk about it critically.
Please, any questions about Rome in general, we will either, if we know the answer, we'll go through it in a bit of detail for you. If we don't, we'll try and find out the answer to it and have a look at stills and stuff like that, to answer any questions you might have about Rome 2 or just the time period or whatever you like.
Yeah, any comments would be really appreciated. We could just even speculate on different ideas you'd like to see implemented in the game and how they work, things like that. So yeah, we'll be out with another episode next week. So tune in then and like the video, subscribe if you want to see us keep doing this thing. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody.
See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.
Amazing. Just be like that first scene in Troy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Brad Pitt just kicking ass. I'd suck his dick. What?
Oh, you faggot.
Definitely cutting that out.
Oh, that's not gonna dick.
I always say that about Jack Tretton.